Hello and welcome back to Elizabeth Hogarth Designs. Today I'm diving into the 2024 Christmas Premium Collection from Craft Consortium called Christmas Market. First I'll show you the collection in detail, including the artificial fairy lights, the adhesive and enamel hearts, chipboard ephemera, rub-on transfers, decoupage sheets and 6x6 papers. Christmas Market is beautifully illustrated by Hales Cupboardish, and as a proud design team member for Craft Consortium, I'm excited to share this collection with you. So let's go through the 12x12 papers first. The first pages include 6x6 toppers, which actually measure 5 3/4 inches square, and then the 4x4 toppers measure 3 3/4 inches square, so these can be used as simple cards. Turning the page, we have robins on festive garlands and more 6x6 toppers featuring snowmen visiting various stalls at a Christmas market. These scenes remind me of the Christmas markets in Bath, southwest England, which I visited with my daughter when she attended Bath Spa University. Next we have Georgian style houses with snow-covered rooftops, a page with a row of houses and falling snowflakes, Christmas trees, letters to Santa, multicoloured patterns for paper ribbons, post boxes with knitted seam toppers and a page of mixed sentiments. We also have postage stamps of snowmen, sweet characters, festive baskets and box presents, and beautifully wrapped gifts to pop under the tree, along with orange slices and cinnamon sticks. Next, I'll quickly run through the 6x6 papers. These are reduced in size of the 12x12s, and if I take you through to the toppers, we then go down again in size, so we have got 2 3/4 inch squares, and then later on the smallest ones, which will make perfect style stamps or tags, are 1 3/4 inch squares. So you can see all of these different size tags and toppers are a great addition to the papers. Next we have the decoupage sheets based on the paper toppers and the snowman scenes. You can layer these on one base plate or use the elements separately. And also included within these are the high quality white mini foam pads. We also have 2 sheets of rub-on transfers with the same characters, which you can use with a lolly stick. Then we've got a new set of heart enamelled embellishments in white, pale pinks and red, and then a metre of artificial fairy lights, which we first saw in It's Snow Time too, and have become a very popular addition to the Craft Consortium range. The embellishments are made of chipboard and they include robins, florals, suitcases, post boxes, pots and snowmen. You get plenty in one pack, and I would highly recommend these, especially if you don't like fussy cutting. And again, they are mirrored in the decoupage sheets and the toppers at the front of the papers, so you can see already how well all of the different elements of the collection will work together. Now you've seen the main elements, there will be some stamps following on after this video. I will show you a few of the projects that I have made. First, I created a set of cards using the different size toppers. The 6x6 toppers makes an 8x8 card, and with all of these cards I've used a Craft Consortium silver glitter card and a die set. Then we've got the 4x4 topper, which makes a 6x6 card. The 3x3 topper makes a 5x5 card. So I'm using the same topper each time. It's the Christmas market scene. So you can take your pick on the size card that you want to create. And then finally the 2x2 topper will make a 3x3 card or a gift tag. The second card uses the festive basket papers, and I've created a flat back card. I have shown these on my channel before. And then I also created an arched framed scene using one of the toppers, and then I added the robin ephemera to the side. Next, I extended the use of the decoupage by adding the elements along a scene of the houses and creating a DL card. So you'll see on the next card here, this Z-fold card, I use the base layer of the same scene and the first layer, and then the extra ones made the DL card. So on this Z-fold card I use the various toppers again, so you can see how versatile each one of the sizes is and how you can combine them together. I also use the rub-on transfers for the inside of the card, and the chipboard ephemera again complements the snowmen caroling. Moving on to a circular plaque that makes a sweet festive decoration asking when Santa is coming. The Scotty dog is particularly adorable. I also decorated a coffee tin with a scenic strip, transforming it into a hot chocolate tin. Nearer the time you could add a packet of hot chocolate or cocoa and a small packet of marshmallows. It would make a great little gift. Then I used an old spice jar which I cleaned up, and I took the rub-on transfers and carefully added them to the sides. Here I've mocked up an old set of mini fairy lights. I'll need to buy some more. And here I have made a Christmas bauble. So I die cut the toppers with a circular die, added them to the inside of the bauble, and then I also included some lightweight artificial snow and a white glittery ribbon. But you can imagine making a whole set of these and adding them to the Christmas tree. It would make a really unique looking gift. In my craft box of goodies I found this tag which will sit on a small plinth, and so I decorated it with the houses from the 6x6 papers, and then I cut into the toppers again of the decoupage scenes, and then I added one to the back and the front and added the heat embossed sentiments. And then finally I created a family photo using again an upcycled photo frame, and then I use the landscape scenes and some of the toppers as the imaginary photos, and created scenes using the chipboard ephemera, the smaller 6x6 sentiments, and I was also able to rub on the transfers of the Scotty dog and some of the larger elements onto the glass fronts, and then I finished it off with another sprinkling of snow. So this is the first set of projects. Now I'm going to share with you a full tutorial on how to make a 12 by 12 advent calendar using the 12 by 12 papers. Highly recommend keeping the packaging. Craft Consortium send their orders in because it's great for building bases. So first I'm going to draw around the 12 by 12 paper pad onto the back of the packaging, and then I will cut it down within the lines to create a smaller base. Next I'm going to use some washi tape. You can either use the Craft Consortium washi tape. I've got another roll, rainbow roll from Paper Chase, and I'm going to seal off the sides. I'm doing this to almost keep the project as dry as possible because I want to make it quite quickly for the video. But if you don't have the washi or you want to spend longer on it, then you could easily use some acrylic paint and colour this board in preparation and then sand off the sides. But here I am using the washi tape, and I'm just going to seal around the edges. Next I'm using red double-sided adhesive tape and adding to the four edges. I'm also going to use some wet glue with it to give myself a little bit of wiggle room. And then I will place this over the top of the board. I decided to pick the Santa's letters to decorate the reverse, so again I'm adding some red tape and some wet glue to adhere this down. Then I will round off the corners with my crocodile. When I was working out how I wanted the panels to sit on the 12 by 12 paper, I created a grid on a scrap piece of paper measuring 12 by 6. I do slightly adapt this, but for now I'm using it to find this centre at 6 inches, and then with my T ruler I'm going to measure 2 inches either side and mark at 4 inches and 8 inches. And again I will use my crocodile punch to make 2 holes and then add 2 gold brass style brads, and this will be where I will hang the advent calendar with a piece of ribbon. Back to the grid. I used this when I was trying to work out the sizes of the panels. So I ended up needing 24 panels for the 24 days of Advent. So the piece of paper measures 6 inches by 12 inches, which I broke down into 8 columns and 3 rows. Then I wanted to have an 1/8 of an inch border within each one of the panels, so I drew these in so that I could see that the panels would fit. And then to begin with I was going to add the numbers to the bottom of each panel, which is where the red line is, but then as the project evolved I moved to the where you can see the green line, and this is where I'm going to put my washi tape for lining up the panels, but more of that later. The door panel measures 1¼ inches by 1½ inches. So I end up cutting 24 strips that measure 1¼ inches by 3 inches, and then these are folded in half at the 1½ inch line, and this will give me a very basic door to work with. You could of course make little pockets or little mini envelopes. The ideas will evolve as you work through the project, but this was my basic starter. So I set all of the door panels up really quickly so that I had an eye of where the decorative blue snowflakes would land within the design. Then I decided to write myself up a set of Christmas activities. So these panels again measure 1¼ by 1½, and they have various activities like making a hot chocolate or watching Christmas movies or writing a thank you letter. You can see more of the designs in my Etsy store, or you can ask any questions below. But these form the basis of the activities within each one of the Advent doors, and I actually printed these onto sticker paper. So all I need to do now is to add an activity to each door panel, and I also have a set of small numbered baubles that will then be added to the front of each door. So I will work through and add all of these, inking around the edges with some blue Distress Oxide ink, and then once all 24 doors are prepared, I will come back and show you how to put them together. I added foam tape to the back of each door. This will give me a little bit of wiggle room when I come to line up all of the doors. And I also worked out the activities that I wanted to add to each day. Then I went back to the 12 by 12 piece of paper, and I used some red washi tape to line up. I did this initially because I didn't want to mark the paper, but I wanted a way of showing you on video how I was working. But I actually found having a line of the red washi tape to be really useful, so I would recommend that when you come to setting up your own. I was adapting the design the whole time because at the beginning I hadn't incorporated space for the ribbon holes. So here I am measuring 1½ inches between each one of the pieces of red washi liner tape, and I used my T ruler to make sure that I had everything square and level. I also wanted to mark the top left corner of each panel, so I used the washi tape to add a mark at the 1/8 of an inch. So 1/8 of an inch, 1 5/8, 3 1/8, 4 5/8, 6 1/8, 7 5/8, 9 1/8, and 10 5/8, and then I went down using my T ruler and lightly marked each part of the washi tape. So once the grid is loosely in place, I took away the double-sided tape of the foam pads, and then I began lining up. I started on the vertical line, but I quickly swapped over to the horizontal because this meant I could still use the T-ruler to line up the rows as I went. Then I was able to remove the washi tape, and this left me with the 3 clear rows of the Advent doors. This part was quite satisfying. Once I had the right way that the washi tape was going to pull, it was easy to remove it from the grid lines. So for this part, I'm ideally going to add small magnets, but because I need to order those, I've just closed the door with some removable Scotch tape. Then I wanted to line up all of the baubles, and I wanted to make them look as if they were hanging naturally from the tree or the door. So instead of lining them up in one straight row, I used the designs on the vertical and the horizontal to place them by eye and create a pattern within the Advent doors. And once they're lined up, I can then glue them in place. I stamped and heat embossed another large sentiment to add to the bottom of the Advent calendar, and then I used some of my favourite chipboard embellishments, and here you can see me trying to work out the best design by eye. And then once I was happy with the layout, I once again used some wet glue to stick them down. I used a stamping block just to secure them in place because these are quite large pieces and I didn't want them to wiggle around while I was working on the other areas. The chipboard ephemera does have a sticky back to it, but I do prefer to add some wet glue for extra security. I think this lovely project will be a big hit for children in the run up to Christmas. We all know what it's like when they're so excited and you're trying to get all of the necessary tasks completed. So if you have something like this, it's almost like giving something back and explaining to younger children in particular that Christmas is a time for giving. Christmas Market is due to be released at the end of July, which will give you plenty of time to try and make some of these projects or make your own advent calendar. For further inspiration, I would highly recommend joining the Facebook group for the official Craft Consortium network. And until next time, happy crafting, take care, bye bye for now.